A lot of people have watched the show Adolescence, and I finally finished watching it today. And while I will say I'm not a perfect parent, there are definitely some things that I did as far as raising my son is concerned, as to why I feel like we didn't really have any issues with him growing up, and he's really sensitive and a caring person. First and foremost, one of the things that I did was stress to my son that he is not the man of the house. It is not his responsibility to take care of me or his sister or to protect us from anything. As the adult in the home, that is my job. He can be a kid, he can go outside, he can play video games. All he has to do is be a kid. Second thing is, I gave him room to just be honest, to be frustrated, to take deep breaths, and to communicate how he feels honestly about something. He would tell me when he would need space. He would tell me when he wanted to speak to a therapist. He would come to me and say something frustrated him. And if I see that he is stressed or kind of standoffish, I ask him, "Hey, are you okay? What's going on?" Or if something frustrating that I'm aware of has happened to him, I ask him, how does he feel about that? And if he says, "I'm fine," I'm like, "Well, you don't seem fine. You seem frustrated, and it's okay to be frustrated. Let's talk about it." The next thing is, if he ever said anything red pillish, because let's face it, movies, music, and even their friends who might not be raised by parents who give a damn could influence them. So if he ever said anything misogynistic, I nipped it in the bud right there. Didn't laugh about it, didn't ignore it and sweep it under the rug. I immediately told him that's not cool and why it's not cool, and that I never wanted to hear him talk like that again. And mind you, he didn't say nothing like too ridiculously crazy, but you know what I mean. The next thing is, I don't raise him with this idea of once you turn 18, he's 20 now. But I never raised my kids with this idea of once you turn 18, you get the boot, don't call me, don't ever ask me for help, figure it out. My kids know I don't give a damn how old you are. If life gets too hard, come home. You can explain later. If you need me to come get you, let me know. They will never have to struggle. They will never have to just figure it out. I will always be their safe place. Most importantly, and the things I'm saying about my son applies to my daughter too. My kids know that I will always have your back. I will always take up for you. But if you are in the wrong, you are by yourself. I'm not bailing you out of jail if it's something that you did. I'm not paying for a lawyer if it's something that you did that is your fault. I'm not going to visitations. I'm not putting money on books. You will suffer the consequences if you do something that lands you in jail. Mind you, my kids don't do things that land them in jail, but I'm just saying. Lastly, one of the things that I had to realize, and what a lot of boy moms do not do, is you don't know when to take your hand off the situation and just let them learn. Let them learn. My son went through a phase where he did the opposite of everything that I told him. He's learning how to be an adult and, how to form his own opinions on things. And I had to be like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to let you figure this out. And he always would. And I'd let him suffer the consequence for a while. And then when he asked for help, I would provide it for him. And I will say now he's, finally getting to the age, my therapist instructed me years ago that most kids go through this and they always snap out of it, after a while, around the age of 25, 26. So he's getting to the age where he's like, you know what? Maybe mom was right about, various things, and he's listening. Another thing that I did is if he was dating a girl and, they had an argument or whatever, and he would talk to me about it, if he was in the wrong, he was in the wrong. If she was right, she was right. There was no, oh, my son is always right. No. Apologize to her, or this is her perspective. This is where she's coming from. I will never be the in-law that, oh, my son, oh, gross. Another thing, as much as I love my children and have fun with them, they know at the end of the day I'm your mom. Okay? So sometimes I would be all up in their business and they wouldn't like it. I would say no and put my foot down and they wouldn't like it, but it was always for their best interest, to protect them from certain things. They weren't just out running the streets all willy-nilly. I'm not your best friend. I'm sure there will be an age where we can get to that point, but now I'm your mom and it's my job to protect and guide you. So I'm gonna say no. You're gonna have a curfew. You can't hang out with this person. You can't go to this place. I don't care if you're mad about it. Suck it up, deal with it. But no. Something else, if my son ever gets married, I feel like I never gave him the impression that a woman's job is to cook dinner for him and to clean up after him. Never gave him that impression. So he won't go into a relationship thinking, oh, it's her job to serve me and to be there for me. So that's just, a couple things that I feel like I did that contributed to my son kind of staying on the right side of the tracks, on the right side of history. I'm not a perfect parent. I'm still very much learning. But, those are just some of the things that I did that kept my kids out of trouble. So, yeah.